Good morning, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai. It's your boy, Banner, and today, my friends, it is 6:24 in the morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and what I'm going to do today is tackle this sea grape. Yep, this, my friends, is a sea grape. And I don't know, let me get started. I don't know if these trunks are all joined together in the spot or if they are separate. But I kind of like how they look as something of a clump style. And I want to try to see if I could keep that going and do some directional pruning to have the branches veer out rather than inside. So let me give you a little bit of a closer look at it and then let me just go. So as I come in on the trunks, as you can see, I would have put a little bit of guide wire to do a little guiding in terms of how I want some of the trunks or this particular trunk to be shaped, because it was kind of going on the inside, so I wanted it to come out. And if you look in, and I'm hoping that I'm giving you some pretty decent camera work, but if you look inside, we have several trunks, and this is a branch coming off of this trunk, and it looks very nice to me, you know, and I would like to keep it like this, in this kind of a clump style. There goes the neighbor's dog. And as I said before, I want to do some directional pruning to get the branches veering out. Yeah. Now, I've never dealt with this particular material before, but I like it a lot. I've had its fruit. This is a tree that grows on the seashore, and it gives you fruits that resemble grapes in that same clump style. And when you taste it, it has a sweet taste, but because it is growing on the seashore, there is also a hint of salt in it. It's nice. It's really very nice. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to repot this body of work here, and let's continue to work on it. So first things first, my friends, I want to try, actually no, first things first, let's look at the top of it and do a bit of directional pruning to foster the type of growth that we want. And then when I finish with that, then we're going to remove it from the pot and take a look at the roots. Now, as I have never dealt with this type of material, and I know other people who, at least a couple other people who would have dealt with it. One person said that they bare rooted it and it worked out, but I don't want to take that chance today. I want to do the root work in stages. So when I'm repotting this, I'm going to plant it into a pot that is a bit shallower but wider. You know, and we, over time, every time we repot, we're going to do some refinement to the roots. Because sometimes, and this is something that I mean, you're always learning, always. Sometimes, even though something could grow from a cutting, that does not necessarily mean that it would take kindly to a great amount of root work. And even if it takes to a great amount of root work, the environment in which you have the particular plant or tree may not necessarily be the best environment for it to prosper. So, taking all of those things into consideration, I want to try, and I know I get hyped up and carried away with the root work, but I want to try to see if I could not stop doing root work, but slow down and do it gradually on at least some trees, especially the ones that I am not entirely comfortable with. You know, it's not a ficus. So let's take our time with it. So with that said, let me get to looking at the top of it and doing some pruning to some of the branches that are growing in directions that we don't particularly want. So what I have happening here, my friends, when I look at this first trunk, or I could even look at this, I have a leaf growing straight up, and these leaves fanning out. So I am going to take away this leaf and this one, leaving these that fanning out, and let's hope that we get something a little bit better. And with that now, these that are fanning out, hopefully we get more fanning out this way. So I'm going to go ahead and remove items that are growing inside on trunks. And yeah, now what I was made aware of is that this particular leaf, even though it's a very big leaf, as you can see, it has the ability to shrink down, right? So if you look at this leaf right behind here, or even this one, they are smaller, so it has the ability to shrink down, right? So I'm gonna remove the much bigger leaves in favor of the smaller leaves, and yeah, let's go. Okay, so I removed, as you would have seen, I removed a few leaves. I had a bit of contemplation happening whilst I was doing some removals, and I took the opportunity to remove a few dead stubs as well, as I am doing right now. As I see them, I'm removing them. And now I want to take the opportunity to repot it. So I like this material. This is a nice looking piece of material. It's very strange. It's a little on the unconventional side, and I like it. I like it. So let's not delay any further. Let's get this out of this pot that is already breaking apart and see what we have happening here. Okay, so we are out of the soil and we have some nice white tips going on. So let me see what's happening. So I'm gonna rake away some of this soil, tease it out, and get it into a new pot. Now, what I wanted to see, I'm gonna rake away the top, and what I want to see is how many of these trunks are joined together and how many of these are separate. Although I want to keep the same theme going because I like it how it is right now. If in fact they are separate trunks, I will have to put them back together or as close thereof to recreate this theme. But if they're not, then hey, we in it, we good to go. So let me get to scraping. Now the soil is wet. As you know, as I would have mentioned before, we here only have 2 seasons, wet and dry. And we are into the rainy season, and my friends, we've been getting a lot of rain. So every time I say I'm going to repot, I'm going to do something, rain. Anyways, I'm working with it as it is. I'm going to take my time, because that's one of the major things. Take my time and remove some of this wet soil. After a bit of combing out, this is where I have stopped, and it seems as though they are all joined together. Honestly, I'm not going to go down any further into the root ball. I think I took enough. I'm going to do a bit of light snipping to the overly long roots, remove any little dead bits. But this is what is happening. This is a nice clump, and I'm going to have to kind of home in on something of a front. I'm looking at this as a front. 1, 2, 3. So I have 4 main trunks, right, with an additional trunk coming up here, making it an odd number 5. Right, and this, my friends, is a nice piece of work here. Now, I have to mention where I got it from. This bit of material was originally grown by Errol. Errol again. He has been in the bonsai business, if I could put it like that. He has been in the bonsai business for quite some years, over 20 something years, and he has a lot of experiments going and a lot of different things he tried, and this was one of them. I don't think he remembers if he actually set it like this or how. I have to ask him, but he gave it to me some time ago, and I had it there, and I always wanted to repot this and really and truly start this on a proper bonsai journey. You know? Well, not a proper bonsai journey. You know what I'm trying to say? I want to put my own spin on this and get this going. And eventually I would love to get fruit from this. So that's another goal for this particular tree. You know, so right now the main thing is its survival with this repot that I'm doing here, and let's go. Let's see how it goes. So this is the pot of choice that I'm going to put it in. It's much wider. It has some depth, a good bit of depth, and it has room for this this clump to grow. If I just offer it up, it fits nicely in there. So I don't want this out of soil and the roots to dry out. So we're going to get to this nice and fast. Okay, so I am finished repotting the Sea Grape, and it looks very nice. There is 1 or 2 things that I would prefer to be a little bit different, and I guess I could do that with a little bit of guide wire, because I'm not going to wire up this tree. This crosses this trunk here, Let me turn it so you can see. Right, so this trunk line that comes up crosses this main trunk here, and then we have your main focal trunk here and this trunk crossing one another in the back. So doing something like that might add a little bit of value, guiding that back trunk a little bit more this way, and this one guiding it a little more outside. This may, my friends, I'm not a big fan of wire, but this may have to get a bit of wire because I do not want to remove it. That is the be all and end all. I don't want to remove it at all. Now granted, in nature things happen where trunks cross and that kind of thing, and I can leave it like this, but looking at it from your angle, to me it is a little distracting. So what I would want to do is to put a little guide wire and see if I could have that corrected. So let me see if I could get to that now. After a lot of deliberation and attempted alterations of the particular branch, I decided it was a better decision in my frame of mind to remove it, because no matter how much I tried to move it out of the way or to place it differently, it was still way too distracting from the overall composition. So if this be the front, this is what I have working with so far. If I turn it just slightly, you get to see all of the varying trunks. As I said, there are 4 main trunks, 1, 2, 3, 4. This splits off into 2. This is 1. This, as you can see, I added a little bit of guiding or guide wire to try and remove the crossing trunks that it had just now. So as you can see, they are no longer crossing, and eventually what I would want to do is to guide this a little bit more here, but that is over time, and this is a very tough wood to work with. This is extremely tough. I didn't realize it was so tough. It's real tough, my friends. But this is what I am working with so far. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to give it a very good soaking, and then based on how things go today, because today is Sunday, my friends, I think I may just pull trees individually and give them a prune. I have a couple of rain trees, and them taking off. They doing all kind of thing, and I need to prune them back into some kind of scope, because as they take off, the thorns, they have some wicked thorns, my friends, and I think I don't want to remove them thorns. Whew. Anyways, that is it for today, my friends. Have a very, very, very good day. As I usually say, be good to yourself, be good to others. Hey, me get a 360 on it. So that is the front, coming around to the side here. Let's see, we have a few things kind of in line with one another. This trunk line is pretty straight. I could remove it, but I don't want to. I don't want to at all. Coming around to the back, as it were, this had a chunk removed here, and it healed over quite nicely, giving it a bit of character. This is the back, my friends. coming around to the other side. They're not so much in line on this side. And back to the front. Now, this is not a finished piece of work. It will be worked on as time goes by. And yeah, that is what happened. Now, there is something that I want to say, and I'm saying it quickly. My friends, I have filled many trees. I have had a lot of material die on me. I have material that is struggling at present. I did a repot on an elm, did some pretty decent root work, and it is struggling. And I am hoping above all hopes and by the grace of God that it lives. You know, and I'm saying that to say that I don't have it down to a science. I don't have it perfectly. There are some that elude me and there are some that do quite well. But I ain't going to stop trying. I'm not going to stop at all. I'm going to keep at it and keep readjusting to suit the, not the climate, but the position that I am in with regards to how much sun, how little sun, and all the variants that could potentially make or break a tree. Yeah? So I encourage you, my friends, to keep going, keep at it. Keep at it. You're going to have failures. You're going to have plenty failures. But we ain't stopping for that. Anyways, as I usually say, be good to yourself. Be good to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. And remember that our climate is our responsibility. We have an opportunity to change it for the better. If not for ourselves, we do it for the future generations. And remember to take care of your mental well-being. Take care of your mental well-being, my friends. I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye.